Okay, so we are live. A little bit about me. I am an 18-year-old producer who goes by the name V3NTOM from India. I started producing about 4.5 years ago, and I'm just here to talk about one of my unreleased songs. Was actually for a remix competition hosted on Skio Music by ILLENIUM, and he's one of my favorite artists, so I just had to remix it. And this actually came in 74th on the Skio chart. So yeah. So before we start, let me just explain the structure of this song real quick. So we have an intro, we have a break, and then we have the first build up, which leads into the first drop, and then it kind of pretty much repeats until the second drop, but there's a different second drop, and after that there's like a chill, lo-fi breakdown kind of a thing, which goes into a fake build-up, and then it goes into the third drop. So originally, my idea for this remix was that the original song was kind of at a fast BPM. It is obviously a rock metal song, so it was at 164, I think. So I sped it up to 172, and I tried to do drum and bass, but I have no experience in that genre, so didn't really work. It didn't really work. So I tried to do the drum and bass and future bass mashup kind of a thing, which I think worked out pretty great. I think some of you might have actually heard this song on Skio a while back because it's still there. So yeah, without any further delay, let's just get into it. So at the start, we have like a slow intro, and there's pretty much just ambient stuff going around, like a small cello, violin, swell kind of a thing, bunch of atmospheric things, this uh, melodic plug, and the guitar. And from there, we go into the first breakdown, the first verse. Here, the first element we have is this piano, which sounds like this. Pretty simple chord pattern here, nothing too crazy going on. This basically just follows the guitar chord progression. This is the Woodchester piano in the signature collection. This is actually one of my most favorite pianos to use because it has a very soft kind of a vibe. There's one more alternative to this kind of a soft piano, which is Labs by Spitfire Audio. But when you go up in the high octaves, it doesn't really work that well. So I got this one. And after that, we have a few top loops here just for like the atmospheric vibe. And a filtered out drum loop, and we fade the bass in. Little fill here. And that is pretty much the first break. And the acapellas that came had already some processing on it and like some atmospheric elements. So I just left that there. And this weird thing which was in the original stems. This leads us into the first break, which is kind of a drum and bass inspired break. We have this drum beat that's going around, which goes like this. Pretty chill. And we have one of this thing like a rolling bass, and we have a sub bass, which is basically like a 3 times oscillator bass, pretty basic. An acoustic guitar here, the same top loops, and we have this new electric guitar and the piano. So this electric guitar, I like this one because it's kind of distorted, but in a good way. I think I distorted it a bit more. I didn't. Okay. Anyways, but I like this kind of a sound which gives like an organic but metallic feeling to an EDM song. And we have a bunch of atmosphere things here and there. Some percussions from the original song, more ambience and more ambience. And as you can see, everything is sidechained to the kick, so we get that, fast drum and bass bounce kind of a thing. And after that, just basic effects here and there, impacts, transitions. And after that, we go into the first build up kind of a thing. Okay, so this first part is okay. So this first part is kind of like a slow breakdown kind of a thing. So we have again the same atmospheres used in the intro and the build up, the first break, and we have this thing, the plug from the intro, a simple bass line going, the top loops and the electric guitar and the piano. The new thing that we add in this break is this filtered out drop guitar thing. So actually, this is not the first project that I've kind of started on this idea. I I like to use multiple projects so I can use more elements, and it doesn't really affect my CPU that much, because I can't really fit it all into one. You know, I can't really fit it all in one project file. So yeah, even this song is mixed in a separate project file so that I get a bit of freedom and I'm not limited by my specs of my computer. And for the build up section, we have a few risers. This new guitar comes in, this percussion, and some ambience, and the main drum loop is faded in to get that bounce going, and a pre-drop fill. So this is how that sounds. And yeah, which gets us into the drop, and it kind of builds the rhythm as well for the drop, so it hits a bit harder. So let's hear what the drop sounds like. This is the main lead. I duplicated it on some synthesizer. So it's just basically a saw layer, progressive house lead, basically. Some more atmosphere here. A bass layer, like a Reese bass. A vocal pad thing. A little larp, which is basically the intro melody, but like on a different preset of a synthesizer. Another pad, and I think this is the main chord sound. Yeah. So it's basically one chord that's playing throughout the entire drop, but it works because the melody is also kind of repetitive. So with the bounce and everything, it just kind of works. This is the melody again. This is the bass layer. We have a different bass line but the same kind of a chord. So kind of interesting. You see, this is the first time I've ever done that in a song. We have the same pluck, which is layered, and we have the sub bass. So what I've done with the basses is that I've spanned it across 2 octaves. So it kind of gives like a thicker sound. And the main wide bass, which is the gritty bass layer that you hear, is it's stereo spread. And the sub bass is mono. So when you hear it in headphones as well, you get like a nice crisp sound there. And then we just have some basic downlifter effects things. And the main element of the drop is the vocal chop that I made from the acapella that I got. So the processing on this is kind of interesting. So let's just see that. Yeah, so here we have like a basic low cut to cut the low frequencies, a distortion, some reverb, and I've put like a 4 on the floor sidechain to it. Basically, it ducks down on every beat, so it's kind of bouncy that way, and it's obviously sidechained to the kick pattern as well, so you get that insane bounce there. In the second half, it's like there's nothing different except for these hi-hats that come in. Even these are the same from the first break that I used, and I think I panned these as well. Like I put a random auto panner thing on it, so it, yeah, you get like a fuller stereo sound from that. And other than that, we have this drum loop which goes like this. How did you come up with the name V3NTOM? So basically, there's no story to my name. It's just that it used to be my gamer tag back when I used to, play games. So it came from that time the movie Venom came in the theaters. So I was really fascinated by that. So it was Venom and a phantom. So it was V3NTOM. Kind of a stupid story to the name, but still, yeah. So after the first drop, we go into the second break intro kind of thing.
Days slowly fade into sleepless nights. Lie awake, empty spaces and wasted time. Push and pull, give and take, couldn't make you mine. No, and I just wanna reach out.
And then here the bass comes in, but all the intro elements stay the same.
And I just wanna end up here. End up here. I spent a lifetime alone.
And we have this one fill here. Yeah. Even this break is kind of the same, just that we have a bunch more percussions going on. We have this weird sound. And this one hi-hat loop. second build-up is basically the same as the first one, except we add this new percussion thing here. It's just a trap build-up, and other than that, yeah, it's pretty much the same. This tom fill kind of a thing. So basically, the story behind this is that the third drop, which is basically the metal drop, it's kind of half timed. Like it's not a drum and bass rhythm, right? So it's a bit of a metallic kind of a drop. So I wanted to introduce that feeling a bit before it hits. So throughout the song, I've sprinkled some metal elements, like some guitars and stuff, like this guitar here. So kind of, yeah, that's my story. I use ambiences in a way to predict the drops that I'm going to, you know, put out there. What do you reckon is your best work? I don't think I've had my best work released yet, so I'm not sure what I can say is my best work. I haven't found my sound yet, if that makes sense. I kind of just make whatever music that I feel like making, but I don't really have a signature Ventum sound, if that makes sense. So I think once I find that, I'll be able to come up with some of my best songs that I've made. Yeah, so when we go into the second drop, it's kind of like a fake out drop. So here, all the elements, all the melodic elements, except for the sub bass, are playing, but they are all controlled with this LFO tool sidechain thing. So if you can see that here, wait a minute. So as you can see, the rate is automated. So the sidechain envelope goes faster and faster with this automation. So it gives kind of a faster feeling. So yeah, this chord sound is basically the same. So it kind of goes from like a 1/8 rhythm to a triplet rhythm, and then it goes back into the 1/8 rhythm. So you can see it's kind of off timed here, but it sounds really cool. So yeah. So basically, what a sidechain does is, you can see that I wrote this shape in this plugin. It's LFO tool, but you can do this using Grosbeat as well for all the FL Studio users out there. So it basically shapes the sound in this curve. If you can visualize it, I know it's kind of trippy and a bit difficult, but like if you can visualize it in this shape, so it's going faster and faster as I automate it, and after the automation is done, it's playing in this thing right here. So if you can listen to it and look at it at the same time. I like using LFO tool in a lot of my songs for a bit of variation in the second drop, and it's it's um it's a bit creative basically. So yeah, and the sub bass comes in on the third bar here with the sidechain, and we have some transition things here like this, and yeah, that is basically the uh, second part of the second drop is the after this we go into the soft lo-fi part of the track. So here I don't really have much going on, just some pads and like cellos and basically more orchestral and atmospheric sounds to get that feeling down. Here I have one of these things. Yeah. So this is basically like a plug that I got from Flex. This is a stock plugin that comes with FL Studio, and I have the uh, external libraries as well. But this I love using Flex because first of all it's CPU efficient, and second of all it's kind of there's a lot of options to choose from. Basically, for somebody who's not extremely good at synthesis, presets are what I use. So it's kind of it's very useful for somebody like me, basically.
If everything heals the time, the words are frame dying. If you don't want to get this right,
we have a lot of vocal atmosphere things going on here, like this kind of a transition thing. This thing. So it's basically like I format shifted it and I've rendered it with a shit ton of reverb on it. Yeah. So it's you can't really hear that, but it gives like a thicker sound, if that makes sense.
if everything
Yeah, and this extra vocal has like a panning filter thing on it. Yeah.
if everyone to get this
We have this cello swelling up, basically like strings, and this is also from Flex. uh I've used this thing so many times in a lot of my tracks. So in the strings expansion, all strings slow, so it kind of swells as you play the notes. It's called something in technical like string terms, but I don't know what that is. So it kind of swells, and I've had like a volume automation um in the pattern. So if you can see, I've gradually increased the volume, and I haven't used any plugin to do that. I've used like I wrote this in, so it has like a bit of a natural feel to it.
right.
Oops.
If everything heals the time, the words are frame dying. If you don't want to get right, then why are we still trying? If everything
Yeah. So this is the fake buildup that I was talking about at the start of the stream. So here we have the same paths from the drop and the ups and everything. Very atmospheric. Some weird impact. A sub bass here. The guitars. And we have a grand piano down here. So the same strings, but it's now playing completely. And we have the vocal with the vocal chop atmosphere thing, and some more atmospheres here. So it kind of sets the mood basically for the third drop. And for the build up, we have the same percussion from the first two build ups, and we add this new orchestral drum build up thing and the percussion from the original. and here everybody is anticipating the drop, but I don't give them the drop. So this kind of sounds a bit chaotic if you listen to it just in your headphones. But I chose to keep it that chaotic because if you listen to the original song, in the original song, the third, like after the second drop, it has an insane chaotic feel. So I wanted to preserve that feeling. Whenever I remix songs, I usually, try to keep one part of the song, like one constant feeling of the song, in my remix as well, so that it's a bit familiar to the listeners who have listened to the original song as well. So yeah, and then after that we go into like this minimal part. So it's just the vocal here with the vocal chops without any sidechain on it and a lot of reverb and a lot of ambiances, guitars, strings, but it's all very low. So here we introduce some risers and this I fade this kick in, so we get that pumping rhythm as well. And after that we have a metal fill here. So let's see what this all sounds like. Yeah, so that is the third drop. So it is like a classic future bass metal ILLENIUM type drop, which what I was going for. The drums are different in this part. So it sounds like this. So this is basically the first drum loop recreated, but in like a halftime rhythm. Yeah, and basically all the melodic elements are kind of the same, just that they're a bit louder and a bit more distorted, like the guitars especially, to match that ILLENIUM feel. And we have the chorus of the song playing just like this. And it's like this. Some ambiances here. Most and the most important thing, which is these percussions, like these cymbal sounds, which give the entire feel to the drop. Yeah, so this is basically the song, and this entire drop sounds like this. And that is the outro of the song. Basically, I don't really have an outro. When and how did you decide that this is what you want to do? I don't know. I honestly don't. I literally I started producing because of Martin Garrix. He is basically my favorite producer at this point. So I saw a video of him where he was 16 and he was breaking down animals, which was very popular at the time. And I just saw a kid who was sitting in front of a computer making hits on hits, and I thought that even I could do that. So that's how I started producing. And 4.5 years later, here we are. Yeah, so this is pretty much the song. Now we can get into the mixing side of things. So you can see all these automations here. This is literally just basic minute changes. It's nothing really that complex. So here, this is basically like a halftime automation. This is for the sidechain on the vocal chops. This is for the LFO in the second drop, and this is for some filter, and this is again for a filter, and this is again the sidechain for all the drops. So it's a pretty simple song in terms of actual arrangement, but one of my mottos when it comes to producing songs is that if it's simple and it sounds good, then it's a good song. So that's generally what I do. I try not to overcomplicate things. So if you really think about it, this should, if you're starting this kind of a project from scratch, then it should take about a few hours for to get this done, because I mixed this project as well. I have spent about, yeah, 13 hours on this track. So this is the complete finished product, just it's not mastered yet. So if we go into the mixing, so for the first drop, we have this guitar playing, which is the lead guitar, sounds like this. Pretty simple melody here, and this has a distortion on it, um a simple low cut here, and some reverb, and again we have this, subtractive EQ here. And after that, there is an acoustic guitar playing for the rhythm, and this again has a low cut, some multiband compression, and some reverb. That's it. This is my favorite reverb, by the way. So if we come to the ambiences, there's literally no mixing on it. It's just some OTT, a low cut, and some reverb. That's basically my master chain for everything, and it's routed to the sidechain bus, so it gets sidechained to the kick. Yeah, we have this chord sound there. Yeah, this has a low cut, but I'll show you the layered. Yeah, it's just two layers, and it has a low cut, some reverb, and OTT. And here it again has a low cut for some reason. I have no idea why. So let's come to the basses here. So for the bass, we have some distortion, a low cut, pretty huge distortion here, and some multiband compression. So my thing is that I choose good sounds to begin with instead of just mixing it a lot. I have a lot of presets and libraries that I get my presets from. So yeah, that's how I, produce music. For the sub, we have a high cut, a crazy amount of distortion, and it's sidechained. So, and it's like 47% mono as well. But in the mastering, I fixed that, so it doesn't matter. So yeah, this is basically the first drop. The second drop is the same, like with the LFO thing that I mentioned. And in the third drop, so it's basically all the melodic elements are the same. Let's go over this vocal one time. So it has distortion again and some reverb. Yeah. And it's also linked to the sidechain bus. Other than that, we have these very minimal hi-hats here, which is wait, 64. Yeah, it has a panning on it, like a random panning. So it goes from one side to the other in quarter notes. An EQ, whoops, and a subtractive EQ to cut the resonances from the thing. Yeah. So if we come to the drum bus for the third drop, we have one compressor here and just a low cut on all the snares, and they're just leveled basically. And we have a transient shaper here and this EQ. So I'm basically boosting the mids and the lows a bit and reducing some of the highs of the kick to give it that initial punch, so it feels more in your face. For the DNB drums, again we have a transient shaper, a compressor, and some EQ things. So this is basically the drum bus for the first drop, because I rendered the drums out separately. And for the break drums, it's really nothing special. It's literally just that for the build up. So basically, every single sound that's playing has a low cut on it to cut the low frequency. So I only keep the frequencies that I want to keep. And other than that, it's the arrangement is just a bit creative. Other than that, it's a very simple song. So if we go over the acapellas, yeah. So again, low cut, some reverb, and distortion, and it's the background vocals also have a low cut on it, and on the bus we have a low cut, some compression, a de-esser for the T and S harsh resonance sounds. So I have that on here because it's not a great acapella, and I think I pitched it one semitone ahead, so it had a bit of that stretching quality to it which I wanted to remove. So I had the de-esser on it with the male split band preset, and I tweaked it a bit. So yeah, let's go with the mixing for the guitars. This one. Yeah, this is a free plugin by FL Studio, by the way, and like I think it was the previous update. It's a very good reverb, especially for guitars. It gives that amplifier feel to it. And I have another reverb and a low and high cut to manage the frequencies. On the acoustic guitar, we've been over that. Yeah, in the third drop, we have a few dubs here. So if you look at this thing, we have a few vocal layers here to kind of get that thick sounding choir sound in a way. Oh yeah, we have a vocoder as well, apparently. Yeah, anyways, so this vocoder is, it's actually pretty simple to make. You just need a vocal send and uh, a synthesizer to link it to, and you get a pretty sweet vocoder effect there. I don't think it's working now, but yeah.
Back to you, another 2 years gone. I spent forever letting go. And I don't wanna face the truth. It's a long way back to
Yeah, so this is pretty much the entire song, and I think I'm gonna keep the download link to this, or like the skio link to this, in the description, so you guys can go and check it out. I actually have a music video made for this. One of my friends made it, so that might be coming out soon. So subscribe to my YouTube channel and my SoundCloud profile. So yeah, that was basically my time.